Johnathan Franklin. Can you hear me, man? There he is. Good to see you.
Hey, how's it going?
Doing good, doing good. Jeez, it's been a few years. Great to see you.
It's been a long time, I tell you that. It's been a long time.
My
Come on,
God.
Colin.
What's going on, Jonathan?
Thanks for taking time, man. It really means a lot. Really appreciate you doing this.
Absolutely. No, thank you for providing the opportunity. I appreciate it.
Oh my God, it kind of blew my mind going back and looking at the past times we've talked. That was like 6-7 years ago at Luna and De Pere. It was a while since we sat down, so time flies. So you're in LA right now?
Back where the roots started, back home in Los Angeles, man. So it's been great to be back here. Family's out here trying to get my guy Colin to come out to Los Angeles. But
So you guys know each other?
Yeah, yeah, we're friends. We're friends.
We played flag football together, hung out together.
Yeah,
Fantasy football. It's
Get
my
the
guy.
hell out of here. Oh my God.
yeah.
Man,
That's why I'm up at almost 3 a.m. here, just to kind of surprise him. So that's why I said what's up.
Out there anyway.
Yeah.
That's amazing. So you guys played flag together. We played basketball. Colin's got some game, man. You can do it all.
He's an athlete. I agree.
Well, man, everybody here is a huge Packer fan, so you don't need any introduction, I'm sure. But I mean, Johnathan Franklin, 2013, 4th round, UCLA, all-time leading rusher still, right? I think you still have it.
Yes, for right now.
It's gonna stand for a while, I think. But man, it was just awesome talking to you every chance that we could. I mean, you could just tell, everybody could tell that you were just destined for, big things beyond the football field. I think before you even drafted, you were talking about being mayor in Los Angeles, right? That was a goal.
Exactly.
Before you even were in the NFL, and now you're back in LA, making a difference with the Rams. But I don't know where you want to start. I mean, usually we just kind of shoot the bull here and have a conversation, so anybody can speak up at any time, but just fill everybody in on what life's like for you, Johnathan. I think we last saw you, at Lambeau, your rookie season, and a lot's happened since then.
Yes, I'll I guess get everyone up to speed and feel free to take the lead from there. So from Green Bay, suffered the injury, the spinal contusion in my C1 zone that forced me to retire there. I think the 12th game of the season, 13 game of the season, and life happened. It wasn't a easy transition. I tell you that. Don't get me wrong. I was excited to get out of Green Bay because of the cold, but I did miss. I definitely not playing the game of football was tough for me. It was a dream, a passion. It was a purpose. Started when I was 10 years old, and 23 years old, it was taken away. So had to transition and learn more about who I was, and embrace that, which I was grateful for. The worst moment of my life, actually, for me, as I look back, became the best thing that ever happened to me, in so many different levels. So retired from the Packers, and I'm so grateful for Mark Murphy providing me an opportunity to return as a rotational intern. So really was able to work in different departments, interning and learning more on the business side. That what really provided me a more broader perspective of what football is and what it can do, beyond the X's and O's on the field. And from there, I moved on to the University of Notre Dame, where I worked in student welfare and development. So developing, creating community programs for the 26 athletic teams there. And then we also had a monthly leadership curriculum, led the Bible studies for the athletic teams. And in 2016, as any wise man would, journey back to Los Angeles to work for the Los Angeles Rams. So now entering my 6th season as the director of social justice and football development. And I'm in ministry school as well on the side. So working for the Rams and in ministry, that's always been a big part of my life. And yeah, I'm excited to be here today. So that's where I'm at now.
That's amazing. I mean, that rookie season, when it happened fast from what I remember. The doctors told you like right away. I mean, one more hit could paralyze you from what I remember. Is that right?
No, so it was a longer journey than that, because once I got injured, we just thought it was a concussion, and then I was just going to be out the following game. And then I sat out that game, got an MRI. We saw a spot, didn't know what it was, sat out another one, and then I end up going on IR. Season ended, and I went home to train. I got in the best shape of my life, expecting to come back year two for the Packers. So I remember coming back to OTAs extremely excited, but yet limited due to my injury. I was attending meetings, going to walkthroughs, and beyond, expecting to play. And then the team doctor, he sent me to New York to get another opinion. What is the spot? And that was the first time I heard I'll never play football again. Brushed it off, man, this is just a test, I'll be good. Went to Chicago, same thing. California, same thing. And I remember it was the last day of OTAs. I'm walking to the locker room. I was leaving a walkthrough, and Doc called me in. It's like, hey, man, we won't be able to clear you to play again, because if you get hit again, you can be paralyzed for the rest of your life. The injury is so high in your C1 zone, no one wants to go in. The risk is higher than the success. And that was it. It was demoralizing, to have this expectation, this dream to come back and to be like, whoa, just like that. You work your whole life for something, for me, over 12 years, and in 5 seconds, it ends. It provided some perspective for sure about life.
Gee, I totally forgot how it was drawn out like that. So you had hope for a while, seeing all these different people just trying to get somebody to give you good news. I mean, and you're not getting it from doctor to doctor. Man, is it hard to, like, when did you kind of accept the fact that football was over? Because I remember when we got coffee there in De Pere, you were still kind of working through that mentally, of finding a purpose, right. Off the field. Was there a moment when things kind of clicked down those lines, or was it more gradual?
Yeah, it was gradual. It took some time, because even I remember when the doctor told me the news, I was traveling to Los Angeles to attend a graduation. And then also my brother and his friend was flying back with me to Green Bay. Right. So I just heard that I'll never play football again, but yet I'm going to a graduation, and it was my ex-girlfriend. I'm about to meet her family that weekend. And then my brother and his friend is coming back to Green Bay. And I didn't say anything to nobody at all. One, just because of everything happened. And two, I didn't want to accept it. And probably after maybe a week and a half, when they were out here, I told them, I shared with them. I think I sent out a tweet maybe a few days later. And that was the first time I went upstairs and I just cried. I was like, wow, this is real. I'll never play football again. And then I think over time, I was able to accept the reality. I was able to speak to a therapist as well, and just embrace that word called vulnerability, and just share the pain, right, and the hurt of just me not being able to play football again. And I think that was so helpful, to start the healing process, to accept, to talk about it, and be okay with the tears, be okay with the process of redeveloping who I was as an individual.
It's your identity. I mean, we talk about it a lot on these happy hours. I mean, football players, you start when you're 5 years old, and this is what you do every day of your life. I mean, this is who you are in so many ways. Maybe not you. You've always kind of had aspirations beyond the field, but still, like, you had that Cincinnati game. You ran for 100. We saw it. Like that. Yeah. I mean, you could have been a star in the NFL, and I can't imagine how difficult that really is. But you've kind of laid out the blueprint for other people here, I would think.
Yeah, I'm great. Of course, I'm not going to sit here and say I'm grateful it happened. I for sure wish I was playing. But on the flip side, I've been able to develop a side of me that I never knew, and find a peace and create another level of success, based off my perspective, based off, what I feel is such. So I am thankful, because, I have talked to guys, and guys it has been tough transitioning, with anything. We all have dreams and goals, and once you go after them, it's tough in that process, but also having it and taking away, it takes some time, right, to overcome that as well. But yeah, I'm grateful, I'm blessed, I'm happy, and just can't be thankful enough.
Awesome. Dan, I know Tim was looking to jump in too, but either or.
Yeah. Hey, Johnathan, thanks for joining us. kind of on that same topic, I'm curious what your experience was transitioning immediately from, football and the Packers into, what was going to happen next. Like, do you receive, some level of support or resources from the Packers or the Players Association? What did that kind of, what was your experience with that?
Yes, definitely. There was some assistance, right, in regards to the transition on various levels from the, NFLPA, and definitely received that emotional support from the players as well. If it was text, if it was just calls, and, Mark Murphy, like providing an opportunity to intern with the org. I found out that I couldn't play again in June, and in July, I was working for the organization. So even that opportunity to create that pathway, which I believe he did for me, what was phenomenal. He literally set the direction for my entire career, because of that opportunity. So I was so grateful for the resources, but I'm thankful for the people in my circle because they made me aware that resources was available. Like even reaching out to Mark Murphy, I was challenged to do that, right, by my marketing agent. He's like, man, you should just reach out, right? You should start that conversation. You should learn about opportunities. So I had people in my corner for the things that I wasn't aware of. They helped me with that perspective, right? So that allows so many things to support me, right, as I grew.
But Mark's a guy that's under fire. I mean, right now, and often, people don't know a lot about Mark Murphy. I feel like, but seeing that side of him, who's the team president? I mean, he's kind of the owner, really. That like, what's Mark really like? Because, like I said, it kind of triggered everything for you.
Yeah, Mark has really molded me. I was saying to who I am, beyond the internship, right? Mark wasn't just saying, hey, come work for the Packers and I'll never talk to you again. But we would grab lunch and he would ask me questions about life and career goals or going to a golf course, and not just to play the game, but surround me with even execs to be able to intellectually hold conversations, right? To learn more organizationally, to develop my business acumen. So he put me in positions where at times it was uncomfortable because I just wasn't familiar with that, but it allowed me to gain comfort, to really develop professionally. So he, like Mark Murphy, I'm so grateful for who he is. I was able to really, I guess, see a side, contrary to what's being shared, as someone who is a true leader, and invested in a guy like me who no one forced him to do it, right? He didn't owe me anything, but yet he was willing to just give me a chance to find success.
So many times. The story, the cliche even is, and I write about it all the time, the NFL just kind of ejects people back into the real world without, an exit ramp. And it's just, good luck, Goodell's hugging you on the way in. He's kicking your ass on the way out. And it's just good to hear those stories. Cause you don't really hear that there are people in high places with the game who are willing to help a little bit.
Right. And there are plenty of resources, right? And with the NFLPA, to your point, Dan, that are available to guys that's transitioning. And I'm not trying to start no fires with anyone, but there's so many resources, right? And even now, with the rookie success programs that are happening while players are in the league, there's a preparation to going pro in life, essentially, right? From financial literacy and beyond. So there is a foundation that's being created and developed. It's also on the players to take advantage of it as well,
No doubt.
Yeah.
Dustin Green is in the house.
Kai, this one kind of hit home for me. As somebody who's disabled, I had to really take a step back and just kind of appreciate Johnathan's story. But to that same effect, Johnathan, my question for you is, I'm coming up through the ranks of a journalism school right now. I as I just say, I'm disabled, so I'm trying to navigate a world that's I don't want to say not accepting, but that's the best term I can think of. It's not really. It's not. People aren't equipped to be accepting. So my question for you is, if you had to give me or any disabled person or anybody who's going through a difficult time one piece of advice, because your life changed in a flash, what would that piece of advice be?
Wow. I appreciate you asking that question. I think one, just knowing you're enough, and I would say, don't give up with you, Dustin. And I think it's going to be tough, right? And I think I had to accept that in my life as well. Like, this is going to be a hard journey. My career pathway is not going to be like the next individual, especially as a minority as well. And as I look around, the lack of opportunities, right? So there are so many barriers for me that I just had to accept that was going to be the reality. And by accepting what was going to come, mentally, I was prepared to overcome the opposition, right? To replace the lies with the truths, right? When my mind told me I wasn't enough, when my mind told me to give up, I had to replace it with the truth that I am enough, that I have to continue to persevere, that it will work out, right? And I think just mapping out a plan, Dustin, I don't know what journalists you may know, but who are your three people, in your life that might help you get to that next level? Who are you growing from, right? Who's challenging you? Who is your circle, And I think that really being creative, and I know I talked about ministry, but in the Bible, Jesus has these 12 disciples, and then he chooses 120. But amongst the 12, he only brings 3 around him all the time, right? Peter, James, and John. And I'm learning, like, in life, I gotta know always who's my Peter, James, and Johns. Who are those people that's pouring into me and challenging me to be better, right? But who are those 12 as well that I can surround myself to take me to the next level? And I think it's finding your core 3, but finding your 12 as well to help you get to the next level, bro. And that 120 is your audience, right? So how are you being strategic with the articles that you write? Who are you sharing it with from a visibility standpoint, right? How are you being at the right place at the right time, talking to the right people in the right rooms, So I think map out a plan, bro, and I think it's finding ways to never make excuses, right? We have to accept where we're at, but also go get what we want, and I believe you can do it, bro.
Thank you. That really means a lot because so I guess here's kind of a football twist to that question. What do you say to a guy who you play with, like Aaron Rodgers, who's sitting there not knowing, is he getting traded or is he just gonna be Green Bay's most hated guy for the next football season? Because you know we all know it. Jordan Love he's on his way. We're like he's on his way up the ranks. So I guess you knowing Aaron Rodgers, what would you say to him, and what would you say to the Green Bay Packers fans who think it's time for this guy to go?
Talk about a question, huh? Did you set me up tonight, Dustin?
That was a segue if I've ever seen it.
I wasn't expecting to go here, but
man. But no, I would say it's a business, right? We all understand the NFL is a business, and many times as a player, on kind of the back end of your career, which Aaron Rodgers is phenomenal, but he wants to win a championship. He needs to win another Super Bowl, and I think it's finding a way to build around him or strategically find a team that's in a position to win now. I don't know, I think the Broncos, they just had a key wide receiver go down. I know that was an option, might be tough now. So I don't know what available options might be out there for A-Rod, especially for the Packers to receive a substantial amount. He is one of the greatest players to ever play this game. So it's a lot to give up for a player like him, especially if you want to go somewhere and win. What are they giving up? So I envision him being around next season, but I'm no expert. We're just talking in the happy hour. But I think Aaron will still be in Green Bay next year.
Do you really? You think they figure it
Real,
out?
Yeah, I think absolutely. I think they'll figure it out. They
Wow.
have, you got to find a way with a guy like Aaron who's elite. He's a generational quarterback, you know. It's a dime a dozen. And I think you got to find a way to get him to a place of like he's bought in, you know, and he wants to win.
It's got to be tough to get to that place though, right? Because
Um,
that stubbornness is a weapon. I mean, it's a good thing. It's something that fuels him.
but who really knows, right? Like we get the stories online, right? Socially, but behind the scenes, you know, it can be two different worlds, you know, and I'm sure he may have a wish list or some expectations, and hopefully I'm just understanding, right? The Packers are bought in, right? They're all in with Aaron. I'm sure they'll figure out a way to keep him.
I remember you telling me how it was playing with him, right? And you're there as a rookie, and when you're lined up next to him, you're trying to read the defense yourself. I remember you telling the story, like scanning the field, and then Aaron's just like, "All right, well, this guy's going to do that. That guy's going to do this. You just need to do this." And you're just like, "Can I figure it out myself,
Right?
please?"
Aaron, he's incredible. You know, he's one of the greatest leaders I've been around. You know, and I'm not really the biggest compliment giver, but he's a leader, and by the way that he carries himself, the expectation that he has, and his transparency as well when you're not meeting the standard, right? And Aaron has a standard, right? What he expects everyone to meet, which is excellent, which is great. But his football IQ is incredible. You know, his ability to understand the defense and the schemes and the schematics of it all, and just his situational awareness. So when I'm talking about Aaron, the eliteness, right, isn't just him throwing the ball, but just him understanding the game of football on such a high level. You know, it's hard to find that. So,
Were there kind of like the two playbooks back then? You know, we've had I think it was Jay Sternberger. He was talking about it on one of these happy hours, and how like Aaron audible to a play, right? Does the 2014, and Jason's like, I was in high school. I don't know what play but he's got that ability to just kind of on the fly see something, adjust. And he can kind of do his thing. I mean, he's got the freedom in this offense. Was it like that with you? I mean, as a rookie coming in, you and Eddie, I imagine there's a lot going on play to play.
yeah, you talk to a guy who, you know, who's been with the Packers 10 plus years, like he understands the system, you know, even with LaFleur, like Aaron understands everything going on. So his ability to adjust and audible based off the look that he's getting, you know, he has that freedom, right? And he's proven, you know, that he's right when he makes certain decisions as well. But yeah, you do have your first half, your second half, you know, plays that you call throughout the game.
I have a question. Um, at the time that you suffered your career ending injury, one of the things that I was thinking about when I knew that you were coming on is what kinds of health insurance did you have at that time? How long were you covered? I assume this was under the player's contract, and one of the other things that I wondered, for example, were you able to obtain coverage under Wisconsin's workman compensation laws? So in other words, I'm just wondering what kind of, at some point I was thinking that you might have to pay for your own health care, and what was covered under your contract, and were there any other sources of income or care that you could depend on, you know, financial stuff that you could depend on?
Yeah, so I won't be as specific or direct answering that question just out of confidentiality, but yeah, I was, yeah. The NFL, and I was kind of touching on this earlier, you know, the NFLPA definitely provided some resources, and I was grateful to have individual in my life to be very mindful financially, you know, and help in regards to just being mature regarding the decisions. And from a insurance standpoint, yeah, was definitely able to receive coverage to a certain amount of time, but also was able to transition to a consistent insurance as well to help provide the resources that was necessary to get the help right, in regards to my recovery from the injury.
Yeah, I was just concerned about, in your case is, of course, one case of so many players who have career-ending injuries, and in some cases, more than that. And I'm also, and of course, I thought there probably was some sort of agreement between you and Green Bay, some sort of settlement, which I'm assuming you said that, was that the confidentiality aspect of it?
What was all of it, right? I think. But yeah, contractually, I was grateful to be a part of the organization, and we were able to. I was just grateful to be a part of the Green Bay Packers.
Was that the same year Jermichael? I think it was the same year, right? When he went.
Yeah, same year.
Yeah.
Same year.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I mean that Cleveland, and you were still playing it because Cleveland was earlier in the season, I think, than from your collision, right?
Yes, it was.
Because that was something we all kind of knew in that moment, like when that happened, like this was bad. I mean, his career, like, I mean, what's it like as a player? I mean, when you're I always wonder, like, what guys think when you're on the field and you see a teammate, motionless, and how do you just like go out there for the next snap and play this game? You know what I mean? Like, what's going through your head right then?
Definitely concerned, but it's so interesting, right? Because you want to kind of be present and engage, with what may be happening, but also you have to be focused on the next play. Just sometimes that's how your mind is trained. But when you see a player on the field that's motionless, I think it puts things in perspective. Sometimes players are viewed as players, and that's it. And then when a guy is injured, you're just like, wow, but I think, you can humanize them a little more, like the reality, everyone isn't superheroes, guys' lives are on a line every game they play, every practice, and I think what kind of paints some deeper perspective is sometimes post-injury, some guys not being able to walk again, right? Or do X, Y, and Z, or just the limitations, right? Or the 10, 15, 20 surgeries they're able to have, right? Once they retire. And I'm just like, wow, it's tough to see.
You avoided a lot of pain. I mean, really, you avoided a career of pain. Like there's a plus side there.
That's
why.
Tim, are you trying to jump in? We can hear you.
He's coming.
She can come in here while you're
Huh?
Can you hear us, Tim?
Oh, sorry, Tyler. My wife was talking to me. Hey, how's Eddie Lacy doing? Have you kept in touch with him?
Yeah, I probably talked Eddie, James, and DeJuan Harris, and I were on a maybe a group chat probably about a month ago, kind of clowning each other about some stuff. But yeah, I probably talk to him every blue moon. But based off his IG stories and Twitter accounts, he still has a sense of humor. And
I love him, man.
Yeah, Eddie was always great, man. I mean, when I first got to Green Bay, he was my roommate. And his locker was right next to mine, and he was just a solid dude. I appreciate him.
Can I jump in real quick?
Definitely, Dustin.
So, Jonathan, you were talking about, what goes through your mind when you see a motionless player. Now, at least in New York, where I'm from, there's this pushing of the initiative of heads up football, leading with the helmet, keeping away from the head and neck area. Does that make you feel confident in the direction of the game is going in terms of safety? But at the same time, there's a second part of this question is, how do you think the heads up mentality is going to change the game?
You are definitely a journalist, I tell you that, man.
Yeah.
You ain't playing no games tonight. That is funny, Dustin. Oh my. But yeah, I'm a big fan of heads up football. USA football in regards to the coaching clinics and the certification. But I think that it's encouraging to see, right? I think even and more so that is for the youth and high school level, from my understanding. And I think that is the level from the youth side that might need the most training, right? Even in regards to what is this toolkit of how to manage and coach, at practice, right? What are the drills that should absolutely be removed that, or what should we adapt to and adjust to based off the statistics that we have seen, right? The learnings from the concussions and the injuries. So I think there should be some modifications from the youth football level and the high school level and the mandates in regards to full contact practice and the full contact engagement throughout the season, just because of the longevity that we're seeing from the banging and what happens at the end. So I think they're moving in the right direction with that from the education side.
Also, Jonathan, anytime you got to jump off, we'll just stay as long. I thought I heard an alarm of some sort. Might have been somewhere else.
Yeah, you're good. No. I'm preaching tonight, so that was just an alarm, just to make sure I remember to prep.
I like it. That's you're organized, man. You gotta have that to-do list, and the alarm in the phone is huge. Like, if I've learned anything, that's big. But we haven't even really talked today, your life today, and how you can really impact the world. I mean, that seemed to be something even before the Packers even drafted you. When we talked, you got into life in South Central LA and the things you saw at a young age that are just unspeakable. I mean, friends, going to jail, dying right in front of you. I mean, it seems like you really want to make an imprint on the world in general. So your position now, what do you do, and how do you kind of work toward making a huge change like you always have wanted to?
Yeah, no, I agree. I appreciate you asking that. I really look at it at the lens, right? Even to echo what you're saying, is providing hope where it doesn't exist and maintaining it where it does. And it's really using the power of football. And even Dustin, although I did talk about the injuries, there's so much power in the game of football, right? The opportunities that it does provide. And I'm not speaking about myself, but now for me, in our community affairs umbrella, is finding ways to provide access, right? Provide the hope when you're talking about homelessness or the education inequities or mental wellness, health and wellness, right? Supporting our veterans. Even today, we had 7 correctional facilities. We had some juvenile halls and camps on virtually when we had one of our players and a very successful professional who spent some time in the juvenile center. We hosted a character chat, speaking to these young men or women that are serving time based off the crimes that they have committed, right? But I think that's an opportunity, one, to challenge their perspective, but also help shape the perception of those that are serving time, right? In these juvenile halls, of how sometimes people may view them, but also lower the rate of recidivism. So I think that, we're able to use, our brand to open up doors to really provide the hope and the change and the impact and really inspire Angelinos, right, to shine bright, as we like to say here.
With the Rams then, you're doing a lot of different things, but what would you say your main job is with the community engagement with the actual Rams team?
Yeah, so that's what I was touching on. So I'm the director of social justice and football development, right? Right. So we focus on social justice, but also I think is being very strategic of defining what social justice is, beyond the division of police versus everyone, but really it's more broader than that, right? It's the access, it's the opportunity. Although included in that, right, is bridging the gap with the community and police relations, but it's the access and it's the hope, right? That's necessary within the communities that we serve.
That's right, because it's one of those things everybody kind of talks about, but it's usually in nebulous terms, isn't it? I don't know, it's how do you actually bring about substantive change? And that's kind of what you're doing. I mean, you can't, it's in the grassroots.
Right. Yeah, so it's about education, right? I think it's learning, what are the issues, right, before you address them. And I think so many times things are thrown out without a true understanding of what's actually happening, right, in various communities and cities and beyond. So, we like to listen, learn, and then respond, right, and to address the greatest community needs from there.
Can I jump in here? Talking about education, Jonathan. You were just nominated by the Rams for something. Can you explain a little bit about that?
Yeah. So with the NFL in regards to diversify, right? In regards to senior leaders and advance that they created the NFL League of Leaders, right? Which each of the 32 NFL clubs are able to nominate someone to be a part of this program that's essentially ran through Stanford. So it's a mix of individuals from each club, but also from the league office, all in this pretty intense course for the next 3.5, 4 months. You know, we meet about 2 times a week, about 3-4 hours of class, and talk about just professionalism, business acumen, communication, effective communication, and beyond.
You have time for all this. I mean, holy crap. Like,
Yeah. I'm learning. We got to make time. So my days start at 5 a.m. intentionally, just because I just need more time to do what I want. And they end about 11 p.m. midnight. I know I need to get more sleep, and I have my rest days, but for the most part, it's about 5 a.m. to 11 p.m. And just being strategic and intentional.
it's amazing. I mean, do you have I can't remember. Are married, kids, family? Is it just you? Like, what's the family situation like right now?
Yeah, I don't know who paid my wife to marry me, but yeah, I am married. 8 months, 8 months in, so a lot of learning, a lot of growing. It is the greatest thing I've ever been a part of, but one of the hardest things I've ever done. But it's amazing. It really is. I'm super blessed. So yeah, we've been married for about 8 months now.
Congratulations, man. That's
Thank you.
awesome.
Yeah. I'm grateful, man. I'm a lucky guy.
The key to a good marriage. Then let's hear it. Like, what are you finding out here in year one?
Hey, happy spouse, happy house, man. No, honestly, what I'm learning, and I'm grateful for our faith, right? That because we kind of have a standard of how we live, but communication is everything, and not just what I say, but did you understand what I say, and vice versa, right? It's effective communication is the key to it all.
So true. Yeah, you can't hold things in. That's that's dangerous.
Right? Talk about it. Yeah. But yeah, it's been great.
Awesome. I know Marty and Sam. I see you guys down there. Don't let me monopolize this conversation. We got a lot of Packer fans in here.
Yeah, Jonathan, do you stay in touch with any current Packers players from UCLA? Like I think Kenny Clark and Chris Barnes are the 2 ones I can think of.
Yes. Not as much. I know Brett Hundley, guy that I know that I talked to. Kenny Young, he plays for the Rams as well right now, who I'll see randomly. But I would say Brett is probably the most out of everyone else, and probably some other guys that you wouldn't know if I named, because their career ended right when they graduated. So yeah, I would say Brett the most. Yeah. Where?
He was talented, man. He's still kicking around though, right? He's back. He's somewhere.
Yeah, he's with the Cardinals. I think he's been there for the past 2-3 seasons. So he's making it work, right?
No doubt.
Can't be mad at that.
So Jonathan, if we fast forward 8 months and the Packers and the Rams are meeting in the NFC Championship game, who are you cheering for? Who are you jumping up and down for?
Man, I was very, very, very disappointed when the Packers beat us in the playoffs last year. And if we do see him in the NFC Championship, then I will vote. Hopefully Aaron isn't there, but I'm assuming he will be. I'm cheering for the Rams all the way. I'm a Rams fan. I'm grateful for the Packers for sure. But yeah, I love the Rams.
You could have pled the fifth.
All right.
He knows who signs his checks now, so that's
right.
That's big.
Yeah, can't do that.
How are the Rams? I guess it was weird last year with COVID. Obviously, there weren't fans in any stadiums until the very end. But like, what's it going to be like at SoFi? Like, are they going to have that thing packed? Like, I mean, that's a palace. That thing is unreal.
It's incredible. You know, you talk about 70,000, it can expand to over 100,000. It is an unbelievable stadium. And I'm not being biased, but it's the greatest thing I've ever seen in my life. It is absolutely unbelievable. So if you all need an excuse to get out of Green Bay, Wisconsin, with some great weather, or Europe as well for you, Colin, come on down to SoFi Stadium.
And Stan Kroenke, he bought it himself, right? Like he just up and bought the whole stadium, right? Just
Yes, yeah, Stan's, yeah, he's great. He had a vision. You know, he had a vision. We had about 300-acre lot. That's, you know, it's beyond a stadium. You know, we had to have a theater. There'll be hotels, shopping centers, parks, and lakes. So beyond the stadium, you know, it's really an opportunity 365 days a year. So one provides service for the community, right? Bring everyone together, but also create this pillar as well in Inglewood. So super exciting for the transformation of the city, the jobs that's being created, right? The opportunities that's going to come. You know, the NFL Network studio, you know, will be there. We have one in Culver City, but they'll be on the space. So it's going to be so many opportunities that's coming. We got the Super Bowl coming this year. You know, Olympics will be coming in 2028. Hopefully, we'll have a World Cup. But it's a lot happening here in Inglewood.
are there a lot of Rams fans? Like, is it? I mean, is it really growing? Have you seen it go the right direction?
The fifth. No, I'm kidding.
I know there's
no.
not any Charger fans, but
Yeah, no, there is. You know, and it's been great, right? We're establishing our brand. We came in 2016, 2021. You know, it's been great. You know, being able to play in a Super Bowl, make it to the playoffs. You know, a few years. It's been great to build. You know, Rams fans, right? Established Rams fans, and even, you know, especially just returning back. You know, the Rams were here years ago. People were excited. You know, we are in the market with 11 professional teams, so it's just being authentic to the community, right? It's winning, of course. Everyone loves to win, but it's creating experiences as well. So we have some Rams fans. Y'all got to come out and check it out, man. It's Rams City, Rams County out here.
maybe Eugene can help us out. But like, I mean, my dad tells me as well. Like the L.A. Rams, I mean, we're huge. I mean, before that move to St. Louis, I mean, they huge fan base, right? Like, and then it's just crazy to me how, I mean, those fans are still Rams fans. They just kind of were put on pause for what, a couple decades. Are they back and you're trying to get new fans? It's a weird dynamic.
Yeah, I mean, right, you know, I think the one of the most coolest things when I got here in 2016, there was a father and a son, they were walking. And the dad had on an Eric Dickerson jersey and the son had on a Todd Gurley, you know, and you can kind of see the old, you know, with this new gen. So it's really unique to see those things, right? Those established Rams fans and the new fans that are developing now.
Can I jump in real quick?
Oh, here comes. All right, John, get the stance ready at the plate. Fastball's coming in.
So, me being a journalist, I noticed your script. It says it takes all of us. I want to look at this from two different angles. I've been doing that a lot tonight. I don't know why. But let's look at this first. Let's go back to our earlier conversation, you know, about your injury and your recovery. How does that it takes all of us model that you have? How did that help you propel yourself to the point where now you're in Inglewood, California, working with the LA Rams?
Right. So even given some brief context, so this is what we kind of embrace with the Rams this year. It takes all of us, you know, to really inspire change. You know, even going back to George Floyd almost a year ago now, true change takes everyone. You know, it takes everyone stepping up and creating that equity, right, and that access for each other. But for me, when I think about it takes all of us, I just think about my faith. I think about my family, my friends. I think about myself. You know, I think everyone played a part in my growth, my transition, in my healing, more than anything. I think we can all wake up and be duty oriented, but are we in a good place, right? From a heart posture. And I'm grateful for the people around me that helped my heart get in the position to do the good I ought to, right? And become the man I was called to be.
So now let me look at it from this angle. In 2016, the LA Rams are reborn. You're rebuilding still in 2021, rebuilding a new franchise, a new fan base, and maybe even one of the finest organizations in the National Football League. I know you talk about how it takes all of us has to do with last season, with everything with George Floyd and the social change. But have you noticed within the Rams organization a real approach to it takes all of us as people, but also with building the organization?
Yeah. uh, yeah. Absolutely. I'm sorry, forgive my humor there, but I'm grateful. We're one of the most diverse organizations, in the NFL, and one of our motto is to win with who we have, win with who's in our building. And we've really been able to, even with Colin, the when he talked about the question, the program I was nominated in, we're able to invest eternally, right? To grow and expand. And also, we do have a diversity and inclusion committee, right? Where we're able to have some uncomfortable conversations that's necessary for true growth organizationally. So, we've had some critical conversations to talk about the reality, right, of one LA, but also organizationally where we're at and how can we get to the next level. So we've been very authentic with our approach and strategic internally, but also been very mindful to make sure our organization is a representation of Los Angeles. So when we go out in the community, we are reflective of those individuals that we engage with.
Is it, to have those difficult conversations, is it something that organically kind of happens? Do you have to like schedule stuff like that? Like in your position, like how do you kind of get to that place and to do your job,
Yeah, so last year we had an organization by the name of Rise come in, and we had our entire organization, from players, from business, football operations, everyone joined a Zoom virtually, and they led just a critical conversation about perspective taking, about racism, about just social justice as a whole, given everything was going on. And individual members had, everyone had the opportunity to share, their honest, raw thoughts. And it was welcome, and I think that helped us all, one, develop perspective, teach, educate, right? But also walk away becoming that much closer, right? And so that was very helpful. And then from the community side, we had an opportunity to sit down with each department and, one, talk about what social justice is, defining it, but also learn, their perspective of it and what they would want us to do organizationally as we strategically approach this issue, going on.
Awesome. Well, man, Johnathan, you're the man. Thanks for hanging with us like this. That was great.
No worries. Thank you. No, it was great to be with you all virtually. I wish we were all in person, but thanks for the opportunity, and thank you all for making time for a 12-game rookie like me.
Are you kidding me, man? Like we're gonna be hearing from you for a long time. I didn't even ask though. Is that still the goal? Do you still want to be the mayor of Los Angeles? Is it higher than that? What's the end game here? What are you thinking?
I'm grateful, to be working for the Rams and focusing on the impact and the change now, winning now and doing what we can. So we'll see what happens next.
Works here, man. That was awesome. Thanks so much for taking time, and just
All
so
right.
things are going great.
Oh, great to see you all. Colin, great seeing you. I miss you, bro.
Nice to see
Hey,
you.
Dustin, keep believing, bro. I think although they were unexpected, they were phenomenal questions. You know? And,
We
I
can't-
wasn't expecting it myself. It just kind of kept coming and coming and coming.
it's okay. Own who you are, man. I think this is a beautiful thing. And I'll walk away tonight remembering you, right?
Thank
And
you, Jonathan.
yeah. I believe in you, bro. So best of luck with everything.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. All right, everyone. Have a good one.
Thanks so much, Jonathan.
care.
Have a
Appreciate
good
you,
one,
man.
Jonathan.
All right, y'all. All right, bye.
Bye.
Smile, Jacob.